The sci-fi story begins with a man named Renton, who has just spent the night with his ex-girlfriend, Hannah. She had come over the previous night to talk about something important, and it seemed like they had left their past behind. Renton and Hannah shared a night together just like old times, but as morning came, several masked strangers broke into the house. They forcefully grabbed Renton and tried to drag him away. Renton struggled and demanded to know who they were and what they wanted, but they were determined to take him no matter what. In his attempt to escape, Renton jumped from the stairs, only to realize they were much higher than he thought. He fell hard, hitting his head badly and died. The same masked men entered the room and captured him again. Renton began to think the first incident was a dream, so this time, he didn't try to escape the same way. Instead, he decided to see where they were taking him. The intruders brought Renton and Hannah down to a basement and locked them up. Their leader, who called himself Father, showed Renton a dead man lying nearby and said that he had died after touching a strange machine Renton had created. Father demanded to know what the machine was and how it worked because it was extremely valuable. He introduced some of his men, trying to had become scarce. Renton, still confused about who these people were, only cared about escaping. Though his hands were scissors, cut the ropes, and free himself. While the intruders were distracted in the kitchen, Renton quickly locked the door and helped Hannah escape. He then checked the dead man's body and realized from his uniform that he had worked for the Taurus organization, the same company Renton had been an engineer for years ago before leaving for unknown reasons. It became clear that these people were also from Taurus, sent to capture him. When Hannah went to touch the mysterious machine Renton had built, he immediately stopped her, warning that it carried thousands of volts of electricity and could kill anyone instantly, just like it had killed the Taurus agent. Renton explained that when he left the organization, the managers wanted to capture him and take control of his inventions, and it seemed they were still trying to do that. What Renton didn't yet realize was that he had unknowingly created a machine so powerful that the entire Taurus organization was willing to do anything to possess it. Renton calmly explains to Hannah that he used to be a scientist working for the Taurus organization, and all those men chasing them belong to the same group. That's why they need to escape as soon as possible. He also tells her about the machine that generated an enormous amount of energy, so much that anyone who accidentally touched it would die instantly. Renton quickly pulls out a special glove that emits electric sparks. If he punches someone with it, they'll be knocked out cold. He invented it himself for protection. Taking Hannah with him, Renton starts moving forward and notices that the kidnappers are sitting nearby, eating and watching TV news. From the big screens, it's clear that the world has descended into chaos. Nations have declared war on each other in what's being called the Energy War, a brutal contest to prove which country holds more power. The main reason behind this global disaster is the Taurus Corporation, which seeks to dominate everything and essentially become the sole government controlling humanity, driving it down a dark path. But opposing them is another group called Block, an organization fighting to restore balance and stop Taurus's tyranny. These two groups are mortal enemies. Right now, however, Renton's only focus is getting Hannah out alive. The kidnappers are heavily armed, making every move dangerous, but Renton feels slightly confident thanks to his electric gloves. As soon as he enters the room, he knocks one man unconscious with a single punch. Hannah moves a little farther away while Renton continues fighting, thinking he might actually defeat them all, but then a gang member known as Father suddenly pulls out a gun and shoots Renton dead. Renton never saw it coming. Shockingly, in the very next moment, he wakes up in bed again with Hannah beside him. Everything that had just happened begins to repeat, the same kidnappers, the same capture, the same questions. Renton realizes he's trapped in a time loop where every time he dies, everything restarts from the beginning. Once again, the gang interrogates them and then goes to the kitchen to eat. This time, Renton, already aware of what's coming, frees himself and Hannah, then explains the situation to her, that they're stuck in a loop, and every time he dies, it all resets. Hannah doesn't believe him and dismisses his words as nonsense, leading to a brief argument. Renton calms her down, saying they need to escape first and talk later. Instead of charging in again, he comes up with a new plan. He gives Hannah a tube filled with toxic gas and instructs her to open the air duct above, release the gas inside, and seal it shut so it will spread throughout the house and kill the gangsters. To protect themselves, he provides masks for both of them. Following the plan, Renton sneaks up, opens the duct, and waits for Hannah to release the gas. He's confident this will work. One of the gangsters spots him, so Renton runs into a chamber and locks the door just as the toxic gas begins to spread. After waiting a bit, he steps out and finds no sign of the gangsters. But when he heads down to the basement, he's horrified to see that the gangsters have captured Hannah again. Actually, Hannah never released the gas into the duct. Seeing his ex-girlfriend in such danger, Renton gives in to the kidnappers' demands. He immediately opens the vault and transfers all his savings to them. The gang roughly grabs him, clearly planning to treat him brutally. They now possess the large machine and all of Renton's experimental data, the very reason they came there. Since Renton's purpose is fulfilled, they decide he should be killed. But this shocks Renton deeply when he realizes Hannah is actually working with the gangsters. She's part of the Taurus organization too. Heartbroken, he tells her that if she wanted all this, she could have just asked. He never expected such betrayal. Yet Hannah shows no sign of regret. One of the gang members pulls out his gun that Hannah is working for the organization. He tries to lock the door, but the gangsters have already entered, repeating everything that happened before. After being taken to the basement, Renton frees himself but keeps an eye on Hannah, knowing she's involved. When he confronts her, she finally reveals the truth. Months earlier, after Renton fled from the Taurus organization with his stolen experiments, they demanded their work back. When they couldn't find him, they captured Hannah instead. She was tortured, interrogated, stripped of her property, and imprisoned for days. By this time, Taurus had become a massive governing power. Hannah admits she resented Renton for abandoning her without warning, but Renton insists he fled because Taurus wanted to misuse his invention. While searching through a computer, Renton finds a recording of himself and Hannah, both panicked, trying to explain something before the signal cuts out. He's stunned, having no memory of it, and realizes there's more to uncover. This time, Renton avoids repeating the same mistakes that got him killed. He takes Hannah to a secure chamber and asks her to move ahead, but the moment she turns, he shocks her with electricity, knocking her unconscious. He doesn't want to risk her betraying him again since she's connected to the gangsters. When Hannah regains consciousness, Renton explains everything. Back when he worked for the Taurus organization, he built a machine capable of generating unlimited energy, something powerful enough to end the world's energy crisis. He had dedicated years of his life to it, but after he finished, Taurus declared the machine useless. Furious and betrayed, Renton stole his research and escaped. Since then, Taurus agents have been after him. Hannah then reveals another twist. She doesn't work for Taurus at all but for the rival group, Block Corporation. Unlike Taurus, Block's mission is to help the suffering population who lack even basic resources like food and water. Hannah and her team only came to steal money from Renton to fund their cause, not to harm him. However, he already knew everything. Hannah then showed him the mark on her bag, explaining that after he left, the Taurus organization had tortured her brutally. When she realized it all happened because of him, her hatred toward Renton grew. Renton replied that after escaping, he had tried to find her, but she was nowhere to be found. For now, he handed her a mask and led her deeper inside. He had crafted a plan to confront the gangsters and demand to detonate the toxic gas. From behind, Hannah appeared and knocked everyone unconscious. They tied up the gangsters, and Hannah offered them a deal, saying Renton had agreed to share half his fortune, meaning they could earn a lot from him. That's when Renton learned that Hannah had a new boyfriend, one of the gang members, which enraged him. He told Hannah she had to stay with him if she wanted the property. When Hannah went inside for a moment, Renton attacked the gang members in fury, killing them one by one. But when Hannah returned, she refused to go with him, saying she couldn't do that anymore. Renton coldly replied that she would get no money, which made Hannah furious. She pointed her gun at him and shot him. The bullet, however, also struck the machine nearby. When Renton woke up from this loop again, things felt slightly different. This time, Hannah also remembered everything from the previous loop. Everything repeated again. The gangsters came, captured them, and locked them in the basement. But now Hannah was just as shocked because she was experiencing the same déjà vu. Once they freed themselves, Renton explained to her that they were both trapped inside a time loop, likely caused by the malfunctioning electroenergy machine. While checking the computer for clues, Renton found a locked file that described a start point and an end point, meaning every time they reached the end, the loop reset back to the beginning. He showed this to Hannah, confirming that they were indeed stuck in a loop. Hannah then asked how the machine was being powered so she could shut it down and break free. Renton explained that the machine ran on self-charging energy cells that kept it active indefinitely, but if they could remove the cells, the machine would lose power and stop the loop. However, he warned that before shutting it down, they had to eliminate the gangsters. Hannah then came up with a plan. She suggested they sit in chairs and call the gangsters, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. When Hannah called her crew, she told Cole, one of the members, noticed that Renton's feet were untied. Sensing something wrong, he realized Hannah's plan. Just as she and Renton were about to attack, Cole shot Hannah. Renton fought back against Cole, who revealed he was never part of Block Corporation but was a Taurus spy disguised as an ally. Cole shot Renton dead too. When the loop reset again, Renton and Hannah woke up back in the bedroom. Renton immediately explained that Cole, their supposed teammate, was actually working for Taurus. He wasn't after the money, he wanted the machine itself. Understanding this, Hannah joined Renton in making a new plan. She said they needed to convince a father, their gang leader named Ban, that Cole was a traitor pretending to be one of them. Soon after, following their plan, Hannah called out to her gang members. After opening the door, Hannah ordered everyone to spread out and find Renton. Once the gang members left, she took advantage of the moment to talk to Ban, explaining that Cole was an enemy who had to be eliminated at all costs. Renton, moving carefully to save his life, saw a gang member lying badly wounded, the wounds inflicted not by anyone else but by Cole. Hannah had already warned Ban, but Cole appeared and accused Renton of killing one of their men. Hannah didn't believe him. In the next moment, Cole raised his gun and shot Ben dead, demanding to know where Renton had gone. Renton sprang from behind and attacked Cole, using his electrophyte glove to strike him repeatedly. The shocks killed Cole instantly. With all the gang members apparently dead, Renton and Hannah hoped the loop might finally end, but they watched the electro-energy machine spin even faster, signaling a different, more dangerous effect. Renton immediately logged into the computer to look for critical information, and at that moment Ban, who had not actually died, regained consciousness. Hannah rushed over to check on him. Renton kept trying to understand the machine and had already discovered that it wasn't generating unlimited power. Instead, it was reusing energy from its previous use. That was why everyone was stuck in this loop. Hannah had told Renton that under no circumstances could they ignore it, and by now, both of them realized that Cole might also know about the things repeating in the loop. Cole, too, would reset in the same way and retain knowledge of past events. This made the situation even more dangerous, and they knew they had to kill him to escape. For this reason, Hannah was telling Renton that if he gave the machine to the Block organization, they might help fix everything. From the start, Renton feared that such an advanced machine could fall into the wrong hands, but this time, he trusted Hannah and agreed to give the machine to the Block organization. Just then, another gang member arrived injured and immediately shot Renton, restarting the entire loop. Renton thought they should first escape with their lives, but Hannah insisted they couldn't leave the machine behind. So they took necessary precautions to survive, caught the gangsters, and headed toward the basement, planning together that Hannah would stay behind while Renton would go find and kill Cole, the only person who knew everything. Hannah waited for Renton and clearly instructed that if Cole arrived, he must destroy the machine completely using a password, which Renton had already shared with her. Renton went in search of Cole, armed with toxic gas, ready to use it if he encountered him. Meanwhile, Hannah continued to wait. As Renton entered the upper chamber, he saw the gangsters' bodies lying there, even Ban's body, whose real body was near the machine. Renton immediately realized that Cole must be there, pretending to be dead to trick them. Cole confronted Hannah and captured her just as Renton arrived, aiming a gun at him. Cole contacted his terrorist organization, claiming he had the machine and they would retrieve it soon. Renton, unwilling to let years of hard work fall into the wrong hands, deceived Cole. Although Cole sensed something was off, he was confident in his gun. Renton then initiated a dangerous move. He grabbed Cole, slammed his hand onto the machine, delivering a fatal shock. The loop restarted, but this time, things were different. Normally, All gangsters would come home and capture them, but this time, Renton and Hannah cleverly moved toward the basement, hearing noises from inside. All gangsters were in the chamber, being brutally attacked by Call, who knew everything about the loop. Renton sneaked in, locked the door, and released toxic gas, filling the chamber. Soon, the gangsters screamed and then fell silent. Wearing masks, Renton and Hannah entered and found all the gangsters, including Call, dead. Call had committed suicide to buy them time. The Taurus organization's robots would arrive soon. Renton noticed a crack on a mirror, identical to a view he had seen in their computer recordings. He quickly played the recording, showing several Taurus organization robots attacking the area, meaning they could arrive anytime. Renton decided to enter the password and shut down the machine. As he prepared to do this, Hannah noticed something in Ban's mouth. Blood was spread everywhere, so Hannah carefully picked up a piece of plastic to examine it. Inside was a paper with the word Sky written on it, the password needed to shut down the machine. As Hannah tried to leave, her foot stepped in blood. Since everything was connected to the electrophytic machine, she received a strong electric shock and died instantly. Renton tried CPR to save her, but it was impossible. He decided not to destroy the machine yet and waited for the loop to reset. When the new loop began, both of them opened their eyes to everything, meaning they were now on Hannah and Renton's side. The four managed to enter and started searching for Call, but Call and his partner already knew their plan and had set a trap, surrounding everyone with guns. They first tortured Hennick to force Renton to reveal the password to shut down the machine, and Renton had no choice but to comply. Call and his accomplice began shutting down the machine, but it was still unclear if it had fully turned off as its cylinder kept rotating. Call brutally killed one of Ben's allies. Renton then realized the machine also needed to be shut down manually. Approaching a lever, he cut the electricity, plunging the area into darkness as gunfire erupted. Still, Renton managed to lead Hannah out toward the garden, but breathing was difficult due to the severely polluted atmosphere and lack of air. Moving forward, they noticed a circle surrounding the house, realizing the time loop was confined within it. Outside, they would be safe. Renton instructed Hannah to move to a safe spot while he stayed to destroy the machine, but Hannah refused to let him go alone. So they both entered together, searching for Call, who was armed and looking to kill them. Call's partner called Hannah's name repeatedly, and she recognized him as the one who had tortured her before. Enraged, she attacked him with Renton and killed him. When they reached the chamber, Call was still alive, so Renton grabbed him and electrocuted him on the machine. Renton attempted to destroy the machine but paused. Observing the computer sequences, he realized this was a 9-loop sequence, resetting after every 9 loops, just as they had experienced before. Renton and Hannah had been trapped in this loop for years, losing their memories after every cycle, which explained why they didn't remember their previous recordings. Soon, they heard the approaching robots of the Taurus organization. Renton considered destroying the machine but later confessed to Hannah that they could try again to fix it, meaning they would re-enter the 9-loop sequence and attempt a new method to save the machine. Renton recorded a new video like before. The Taurus robots arrived and shot both of them, killing them. In the next moment, they were shown asleep on the bed, confirming the 9-loop sequence had restarted. Whether they will succeed this time remains unknown, but our story ends here.